Good afternoon. Welcome to Website Wednesday, which I am running a day late because I couldn't get a good enough internet connection yesterday. So thank you for bearing with me. And so these are the monthly Quickfire reviews that I'm doing. I started up last month and the feedback was amazing. So thank you if you submitted feedback, or if you requested a review, or if you just gave me some really positive suggestions into the comments. So I've got another 3 websites lined up. So these are websites, some of them I haven't seen before. In fact, one of them I have because it was one of my clients who did rock that website. But most of the website links that have been sent through to me are completely new to me. I have no affiliation with them. So I'm really coming at them cold. And it's really, really useful for people to get, for you as business people, to get some fresh eyes on your website every once in a while. And this is something that I do on a regular basis in the Visibility Vault in my membership. Every month we do these reviews, and I do them. They're a lot more in depth than what I'm about to do now. So these really are rapid fire reviews, very top line thoughts, but the feedback from last month when I did them was that they were really, really useful, and people took a lot from it in terms of what they were able to go and tweak and change. So just pop in and say hi. I can see you starting to arrive. If you just say hi in the comments and let me know that you can see me and hear me. I know you're seeing a weird screen at the moment in front of you because it looks like it's all just kind of like fading into infinity, but that's because I'm sharing my screen and I'm about to just share all of these messages. The websites that I've actually got. Jackie, hey, thank you. That's lovely to see you. And I'm just going to show you. So this somebody saying hi, I can see you. That's great. Thank you so much. I actually can't see who that is, but Louisa, I have got you down for a review for next month. So thank you for submitting that. So let's dive straight in. Karen Holton, I have your website first. So hopefully you guys can see this. Karen is clearly based in Denmark, and this is really cool that she has the option for us to switch over into Danish. So it's a multilingual site. What I would say, Karen, is that we should really try to avoid this wrap. When we have too many navigational links up at the top, it becomes too confusing. We definitely don't want it to wrap onto a second line. I would say 6 menu navigational links is probably about where you want to be. And so usually what we would see up in the top navigation would be home, about, services, possibly fees, blog, and contact. So I don't think you need these 3. I think these are surplus to requirements at the moment, and what these would fall under would be under your services. And if you're wanting to boost your search engine optimization for these, you can talk about them a little bit within the context. So you could say some of the topics that I touch on are, so I'm not sure what neurographica is, maybe it's a particular modality that you specialize in, but those those are the kind of things that you could talk about within the content, rather than having them up at the top. Or you could have a drop down from your services if these are actual services that you are offering. So this is really nice in terms of a benefit statement, because we know that you are a master hypnotherapist and NLP therapist. So that's really great. And then you're talking about how you can help people achieve change and reclaim happiness. So this let's have a no obligation chat is going to your contact page. I can see that when I hover over it. Let me actually just click on that. What I would hope is that it goes to a scheduler. So it goes to an actual contact page and it opens in a new tab, which isn't, I wouldn't recommend that you open that in a new tab, because people will just get a little bit irritated when they end up with a whole load of open tabs. So I would switch this so that it goes to a scheduler. So that's going to take away some of your legwork in organizing those kind of conversations, but also it's instant. It means it goes straight into their diary and there's no time for them to slip through the gaps. And also there's quite a lot of green on your page. I would have this as a brighter color. So clearly your color palette is lots of different shades of green, which is beautiful. But all those greens kind of tend to blend into one another, and there's nothing that actually stands or jumps off the page apart from the pride flag or the LGBTQ flag. That's your real pop of color. So that is what people are going to most likely want to click on, because it's the thing that really catches their eye. And you really want your calls to action, or your primary call to action, to be the thing that jumps off the page. So I would make sure that you turn this into a different color, even if it's not part of your color palette. Have it as an orange or a pink, or something that really that springs off the page. All this is really great. I love the actual content of this, and it's nice that you've broken this up into how people can work with you. This is smart. It's really nice. It's nice and tidy, and it gives people the content that they want. And I love that you've got a lead magnet here where people can listen to a hypnosis. So that's really nice. Testimonials, fabulous. So you've got your social proof, a way for people to connect with you. And I really like this, that it's very clear that you're an inclusive therapist. When I come down to the bottom, what I would suggest is that this newsletter sign-up form is going to bring you very little sign-ups, and it makes this footer look cramped. So people tend to not just use newsletter sign-ups because they don't want another newsletter in their inbox. They don't want to just be added to a mailing list. Whereas they will sign up for something like this because it gives them something for free. So you're giving them a resource which is really useful to them. So I would actually be inclined to just ditch this. I don't think you need it. I think it makes all of this look very, very cramped. And these quick links, they don't seem to fit with your color scheme. And these are the kind of default, this is the default blue, but you can change those. So I think you're using Divi. It looks as though you're using Divi, and you can change those in your text settings in the design tab of Divi. So I would definitely be looking at those. You've got your privacy policy there, which is great that you've got one. I would be inclined to put it so it stands out more on its own. It's not strictly necessary, but I would possibly be inclined to think about moving it down with a copyright notice. And you also need a terms of use on here. And I didn't notice oh yeah, you have got a cookie consent. Okay, good. But that's great. Overall, I think you've done a really good job. I think my main suggestion to you would be around the navigational links and the color of the button. So hopefully that's useful. Let me come back to StreamYard and see if we have got any questions on that. Okay, all right. Okay, let's go on to the next one. So Karen, I'm hoping that was useful for you. I will tag you in this because it doesn't look as though you're on the live. All right, piano with Viv. All right, let me just have a quick scout through this. Okay, it's quite a short page. So what I would say is whenever we've got a logo that is on a colored background like this, a block of color behind it, I would be inclined to put that block of color all the way along this entire section. And the reason for that is because this feels like it's just kind of plonked there. It feels a little bit out of place, as though it's a bit of an afterthought that you just kind of stuck it in there. And so if this entire section was black, it would look as though it was meant to be there and it fitted in with its surroundings. Obviously, that would mean then you would have to change these to white to make them stand off the black background. But that, I think, would be preferable for you. So from a branding perspective, I think that would work, or from an aesthetic perspective. This, what we call the active link in your navigations, is the default blue. So this, again, I'm fairly convinced that you're using Divi with this because this is the Divi blue. And you can change this in your theme customizer, and I would encourage you to change it so that it's one of the colors from your color palette. And I guess that this kind of salmon pink and this yellow and the black are your branding colors. So I would choose your active link to be one of your branding colors, or at least to be aligned with your branding colors. This is a beautiful image, really, crisp and fresh and very appealing. But I feel as though you're almost being apologetic with the text here. I think you should really make more of a noise with this, because you have the space to do it. You could almost fade some of this out to give you a nice blank space, or a nice easy space for you to add on some text. And yes, they want to learn piano, but maybe think a little bit more about why they want to learn the piano and what they're going to benefit from it. You know, if it's children that you're working with, is it because it's going to help develop their brain in a different way? Is it going to help them become more creative? Is it going to give them an opportunity to play music for the rest of their life? Is it, you know, so maybe think of it along those lines. Yes, they want to play piano, but it goes deeper than that. So think a little bit more about that. And here you're talking about lessons offered in line or in person for ages 5 up. It's a little bit into the detail, but I would really create some kind of strong benefit statement. And then this can almost be the tagline and the fact that you work with beginners through to advanced levels. So I just think that this section could work a lot harder for you and be far more hard hitting and powerful. And again, with the colors, so I think you've tried to take some of these colors from here, but the yellow of this glow is different, and the red that you've used is different to the salmon color. So I would try to keep some consistency with your brand colors, and also with the style of images that you're using. So this is really nice. This looks like this is you, and this looks like it's a photograph at the same piano, which is really nice. This is clearly one of your students, so that's great to see. And then, but this one looks completely misaligned with those. So this is more of a kind of cartoon one, whereas these ones are beautiful photographs. And that's not to say that you can't do this, but I would just try to keep the vibe the same, just so you have some brand consistency throughout. And that the fonts are also different throughout the page. So just keep in mind that you want to make sure that the fonts and the colors of the fonts and the size of the fonts remain consistent as well. It will just give it a more professional, tight feel on the page. Again, this font is different and it's quite difficult to read with the busy background. So you could put an overlay over this. And then these, I'm not a great lover of carousels because it relies on someone to actually click on them to actually see what you're saying. So this, you kind of unlock your artistic potential. This is the kind of thing that I would hope to see further up the page, and definitely to be in a more prominent position than almost like an afterthought down at the bottom. The Einstein quotes are nice, but be careful not to give them too much prominence on the page, because they're inspiration, and that's great because you're wanting to inspire people to take some kind of action to learn a new skill. But really, you want to be focusing in on what the benefits are that you offer to people. So just be careful of these carousels where you're making people actually engage with it in order to get some information. Then we've got the contact me. Okay, so yeah, this is a button, but again, it's not consistent with this contact me. So this book a free consultation takes them to the contact page, which is where this takes them to. And again, there just doesn't feel like there's any style consistency in any of this. There's also not a privacy policy or a terms of use along the bottom, which is a legal requirement. And you don't have a cookie disclaimer on here, and that's another legal requirement. So you need to make sure that you add those. So I think really getting clear on your branding is going to really, really help you with this, Viviana. Hopefully that's helpful. Okay, let me just have a look. All right, I can see. So Mian says, could you please share some niche ideas for global blogging? It's quite a big question, Mian. I'm going to stick with the reviews for today, but if you've got a specific question, pop it into the group, and I will take a look at it after this. So now here, I'm coming over to Gayna's site. I know this is Gayna's site because she's done rock that website. And this, in terms of the look and feel of the site, let me just look through it, is looking really nice. It's really smart and on brand. I really like how you've laid it out, Gayna. Okay, so there's lots of really, really good stuff in here. Let me just address some of the things that I would be paying some attention to. So the first thing is, I don't ever recommend that people have these social media links in their header, because what you've linked to here is this is the prime place that people are most likely to click. And so what you're doing is you're taking them over to Instagram or Twitter where it's noisy and it's busy and it's a high distraction zone, and they probably won't come back to your site. So it's really important that you don't include these in your header. This all looks really good. I like the fact that you've got a book now. I would prefer, if you're wanting to use that space, I would prefer you to have a book now button up here instead of your social media links. So these, again, these sliding carousels, I don't love them because there needs to be something really, really beneficial in seeing these. So in something like a portfolio site, for example, let's say you are an interior designer and you want people to be able to scroll through or at a glance see a whole load of your projects. In that instance, it might be worthwhile having a carousel. But for something like your mentoring services, again, I'm not sure that it's really relevant. So let me just see what you've got in here. Business English Mentor, which is great, says exactly what it is that you do. Yes, so this is all really, really fabulous. Let me just see what's on the next one. There's a typo here. So you definitely want to address that. Okay, so I don't think there's anything that's really adding enough value on here for this to be relevant. And also the background image is quite distracting in terms of it. I want to read wisdom rather than success guaranteed and all the rest of the information that you've got on there. So I would ditch the carousel. I would just have that information on the front page. Okay, so you've got some little calls to action. There's another typo here. This should be schedule. You're missing the C out of that. I would expect these to be clickable because you're saying contact us today, but this isn't clickable. So there needs to be an action on this. Meet your tutor to discuss your course. What's the action here? Again, if you're wanting it to go to your about page, this should be clickable, and definitely schedule an appointment needs to be clickable as well. So, so you've got some actions missing from here. Mentoring services. Yeah, this is great. And I'm assuming they take you to, yeah, they take you to a services page. Yeah, so I like that you're explaining at a glance what you can do. So that's really great. And you use nice imagery there. Yep, this is great. Loving this section. Yep, a little bit about you. All right, so you've got all the key elements here and your social proof with your testimonials. And this is a tip for everybody. When you're doing testimonials, sometimes we want to include the whole thing, but actually the likelihood of somebody reading all of this is really, really slim. So I would strip it back. So you don't need to include the whole lot, just take out the bits which are really, really relevant and are going to most likely help most people make a decision as to whether or not you're the right person to work with. And then what you can do is you can even highlight or underline or change the color or embolden some of the areas, like the key areas. So things which are particularly relevant, I would just pull them out. So here, things like I felt more confident and really understand how to navigate questions. So that might be the kind of thing that you really, really want to draw out of these. Schedule an appointment, absolutely great call to action at the bottom of the page. Again, you're missing your privacy policy, terms of use, and your cookie disclaimer. But this is the right place for your social media icons. So here they're fine, but you definitely want to be taking them out from up there. Okay, so that's the three. I rattled through those. Let me just come in, check and see if there's any other questions or if any of that. Let me just take this off the screen. So Louisa says, eek, need to get on and finish my website. Absolutely, there's nothing like a deadline. Joanne says, it was me, you couldn't see. StreamYard needs to be redone. Perfect, well done for doing that. Thanks for joining us, Joanne. Mayan says, could you review my site? Yes, Mayan, you can submit that. We have a massive list, I'm afraid. So I will, it's a case of join the queue. And I will add that on. And I think what I'll do from now on is I will ask for people to be on live if their website is being reviewed, because then they can ask more questions about it. And it also means that the people who are showing up are going to get their websites reviewed. So from now on, on the first Wednesday of every month, I will be running these quickfire reviews. If you would like your site to be reviewed, or if you've submitted it for review, please go ahead and show up live on that session. And then you're more likely to actually have a shot at getting your website reviewed. I can't tell you how many people submitted their websites to me after the last session, which is just, it's lovely to see. If any of you actually, if you don't want to join the queue, if you want to get a website review done faster than that, I do have power hour sessions, and I will post the link into the comments. If you're wanting to book a session with me where we go through your website together, and obviously I'll get a lot more input from me, and I'll be able to help you correct any of the things that you're wanting to talk about, or help with any of the messaging or anything like that. Those sessions are available for you to book. All right, great, lovely to see you guys. Thank you so much for being here. Louisa, you're welcome. Jackie, I'm so pleased it's been helpful. Thank you for being here, and I will be back again next week for Website Wednesday, and I will maybe see you all then. Bye for now.